Hi, Nubia here with Beyond the Sun Consulting.me. I'm here to share with you how I landed my first career over the age of 40. I have some notes to refer to keep on track. Here's what I'm going to lay out. It has to do with astrology. Okay. It has to do uh, with astrology. So I'm going to share why I became my own astrologer. What was I doing before astrology? And then I'm going to share about my coaching and why I chose coaching. First, I consider astrology to be like a map. And let me start off by saying this. We are not born with a manual for understanding how to navigate life. But I can attest to you that as an astrologer and coach, each and every one of us is born with a map. And if you've ever felt lost, if you've ever felt like you're in a place that's unfamiliar, or you're in a place that you don't know how to get out from, you know the value of having a map. And I believe in practical tools and using magic in a practical way. And I also believe that God made tools available to us so that we can be the hero of our story and make everyday life magical. So, my first attempt at listening to my own desires is why I became my own astrologer. The moment that I chose to listen to myself was when I was reading my email on a laptop in my cozy little onesie on a spring day. And I read an email from an astrology coach and teacher that reminded me that it was the next to last day to sign up for her year-long beginner's astrology or foundational astrology course. And that moment, my heart started racing because it occurred to me that I did not have the courage to sign up the first time. And this was the second time. And often it doesn't take too much. When I see things, twice or three times, it's like, okay, that's a message. So my heart started racing. I went back to my email to find a reason for why I should not sign up for her cohort. Again, just ignoring myself. And instead, I found the reason that I could no longer ignore. I realized that I had been ignoring my own desires for 2 decades. So, why I became my own astrologer is because it was my first attempt at listening to my heart's desires. And I knew I wanted to be of service. And already being over the age of 40, I didn't think I was going to do it by continuing to pursue education into, at the time, I was pursuing veterinary medicine. I didn't think I was going to be of service in that way. It was no longer practical, and I'm all about practicality. But I am also a Scorpio, so I was like a bulldog. I was locked in to that, and I didn't realize that it was important for me to pivot. By the way, let me know in the comments if you want me to do a video on how to know when it's time to pivot, or if you should keep pursuing a particular goal. I would be glad to do a video on that. Let me know. Put a time to pivot in the comments. Put time to pivot in the comments. and I will do a video on that. Now, I wanted to be of service. I was over the age of 40 and I realized my life had been put on hold. But I know that simply by being in tune with the connection of my spirit, that in order to experience fulfillment, that I needed to be of service. And I didn't know how. I didn't know what way would be, or I knew that a way would be that would benefit me and benefit others would be astrology. So that's why I became my own astrologer, because I knew I wanted to be of service. And for 2 decades, I was thinking, nope, that can't be it. Even though I had this little, um, still small voice that kept pulling me to astrology for 20 years. And every year I was like, or every moment, I'm just like, nope, that can't be it. It has to be something else. I have to be of service by being a veterinarian, of course, because that's what society says. You have to have some kind of regular job, or something that's respectable, and astrology can't be it. So I was, that was a way that I could be of service. And you know what's funny? When I did learn astrology and I learned to review my own, what I call my birth map, I learned that I was made for this. I was made for, and I feel in alignment with, being an astrologer and coach for others. It's it's shows up for me. That's what I was made for. So I've been pulled to be an astrologer, but I have been ignoring myself for 20 years. What was I doing before astrology? Everything except what I felt called to do. For 2 decades, I felt lost. I was pursuing educational goals as a means to an end. I pursued what they, well meaning family and friends recommended that I pursue based on my interests, and they were trying to help me. And that's the point. I was looking outside of myself and not realizing, like, I didn't even explore the potential or the possibility of what astrology could mean for me and how it could show up for me in my life and unfold. I didn't even pursue the idea. So I also, for 2 decades, that means I was pursuing everything else that they tell you to do. So I chose a spouse and I made a poor decision because I felt pressure that I was over the age of 30 and I should be married because that's what they said. So I did get married and I chose poorly. So I went, so that cycle has to play out, right? That all those years of getting in a relationship, being married, realizing it's not going to work, even though I realized it before I got married, allowing that situation to play itself out, that took years. And also student loan debt. So that's what I was working on. I was working on clearing up debt, clearing up relationships that didn't work, and then learning to love myself, learning to value myself. That's what I was doing for 2 decades. I was in so many programs and so many DIY self-paced programs. And I realized that it's really the coaching component that helped me achieve the most growth. So finally, I chose coaching because I don't want to teach astrology. I want to kind of get to the meat of it. I know what it's like to do things, to feel like I'm doing things and to get to a means to an end. But I want to just help you. I want to help you get to that end. I want to help you um, achieve the thing. And you don't have to be an astrologer unless you feel called to. And if you do, I can recommend so many great teachers. I can recommend the teacher that I worked with, whose tutelage I was under. Um, and I'm a forever student of astrology, by the way. I just believe that you don't have to be an astrologer to get the outcome you want. But if you do want to, using the analogy of a map, to pinpoint where you are on your map, and then use a framework that I've developed called my GPS framework to get to where you want to be on that map, I would love to help you. But what I did is, after I became my own astrologer, I landed my career, and I'm in a career that suits me based on the area of my chart, of my birth map, that has to do with the mundane, everyday work. It's in alignment. I'm in a career that pays well, and it's best suited for me. Like, I don't feel like it's hard work. I feel like I can show up, I can experience challenges, but they're challenges that everybody experiences with work, which is trying to innovate, trying to improve, try to make things simpler, faster, better. Those type of challenges are ones that I can deal with. And I became my own astrologer to land that career. So I used what I already knew, which was writing, and I made, I got clear on my goal, which was I wanted to choose a career. So I took what I learned from astrology. I got clear on my goals as to land a career. So that's the G in the GPS framework. Then I pinpointed where I was on my own map. I said, okay, I'm here. When you see that little pin in the map, and then you see, you get your bearings, right? So I got my bearings. I pinpointed where I was on the map, and then I prepared for the journey that was ahead of me. And I did that by looking at where the sun is on my birth map, and then looking, going beyond the sun to see where the other planetary positions were in my birth map that were transiting, that were moving through where I was in that moment in time, so that I could determine, okay, here's the energy I can work with to make this happen. And then here's some energy that might pose as a challenge. So I prepared myself for the journey ahead of me. And then I set myself up for success. That's the S in the GPS framework that I came up with. And I strategically set out a plan to help me get into the technical writing field. That for me involved working with a recruiting agency, working with someone who I knew could help me create a portfolio of work so that I can move into that field properly, even though I did not have the title before, but I had done the work. And so this is just one example of how I landed my career. But because astrology is different for everyone, that's where I come in. I can help create a tailor-made plan specific to your astrology and apply my GPS framework to help you get clear on your goals, to help you pinpoint where you are on your map and prepare for the transformation and the work ahead of you, and then set you up for success by creating a strategic plan to help you get to where you want to be. For me, it was establishing a career for the first time. For you, it could be something else. And there are 12 core areas of life to talk about and to explore. So get a consultation and we can talk about it in depth. In the meantime, I want you to think about ways that we can break away from the conventional side of things to make the type of change in our life that we want. And we can do that by using the tools God put here for us. If you thought this video was insightful, please let me know by leaving a comment. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed what I had to say, and feel free to share and subscribe to my channel so that I could bring you more content like this. Let me know what else you'd like to talk about, what else you'd like to explore and discuss that has to do with using the unconventional ways of creating everyday magic and making it normal, because our life should be magical and magical should be normal. If you like a consultation, meet me at beyondthesunconsulting.me. Till next time, this was how I chose my career for the first time over the age of 40 using astrology. I'm Nubia, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a wonderful day.